Alright lads, so today we just wrapped up streaming the 10th anniversary finale, charging into the 11th BANKAI livestream, which did of course reveal the new end of year characters, some stuff coming our way this week, and also stuff planned for later in the year 2026. There's a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, so let's jump straight into it. Firstly, talking about the new end-of-year characters that are going to be here December 31st. The first character, as expected, the character a lot of us were waiting for, a new BANKAI Shunsui. Now, this character is an absolutely amazing unit that, honestly, is almost perfect. But keep in mind, I said almost. For starters, the character artwork is really cool, him activating the BANKAI, the shadow, the yellow BANKAI effect, and that also is reflected in the gameplay. You'll see from the character's visuals themselves, each strong attack is actually representing a dan. His first strong attack is the first dan, second is the second dan, and third is the third dan. Alongside that, you are going to notice in the gameplay is that he does have an aura effect, which does surround the screen once more with the BANKAI mechanic, which is the one thing I wanted with this unit. Now, to stay lore accurate with this character, like already mentioned, each strong attack does represent a dan. There are 4 dans in total, and the final dan, of course, is going to be seen in the Soul Bomb. But Shunsui is going to introduce a whole new mechanic with that in mind. What you're going to see here when playing with the character is there is going to be a new combo mechanic, where the character wants to use specific strong attacks in order, the first into the second, into the third, and then once you do that, you can activate the Soul Bomb. It makes the Soul Bomb more powerful, but it also does change the animation briefly. In this case, you can actually see Kat and Kyokotsu briefly appear in the Soul Bomb animation, which I think is a really cool touch, and it makes sense because again you want to go from the first to the fourth dan. But once you do activate this enhanced Soul Bomb, your strong attacks then reset. You can once more use every strong attack again, and now they are all considered superior strong attacks, his first, second, and third. That is absolutely crazy. So this is a really cool mechanic that makes perfect sense they introduced with Shunsui, and I'm very excited to see where they are going to take this even further. When it comes to the character's skill set though, he does have some really good skills. He pretty much has everything you want besides long stride, but there is one thing to keep in mind with Shunsui, and this is probably a way to balance the unit due to this new mechanic. He unfortunately only has Frenzy +2. The norm has been Frenzy +3, so at first glance it might give the impression that Shunsui is an underpowered unit. But I really don't think that is the case. Like I said on stream multiple times, I will be gladly wrong. I think the character's fine. I think he looks cool. I think this does the character justice to likes that we've never seen before. But definitely do keep an eye out on his damage output because it is only Frenzy +2. He does have a bunch of new multipliers and he does have the aura effect, so he is getting more SP. I personally don't think damage will be an issue, especially when you consider the whole new mechanic where he can get all his strong attacks back upon using his Soul Bomb. But that right now is the current big discussion surrounding Shunsui. If you currently right now into a Shroud the character, disregard the character's strong attack damage, I think this is almost a perfect unit. Going into our next character though, surprisingly we have a new Aizen already. How greedy. 3 characters in 1 year, but this Aizen in particular is Chair Aizen. So this is another big one for me, because when you see the gameplay, you'll see that Aizen is actually stuck in the chair. It does look a bit goofy, because technically Aizen can't move in the chair, so when you do naturally move, his animation is technically flash stepping, even though you're not flash stepping. It's a bit weird to look at, but it's goofy, it's fun, and that's exactly what I wanted with the 7th anniversary Aizen that this technically is a remake of, although it's different because this isn't Core 4 Aizen. Animation-wise too, this character looks really cool, especially with the Hado 90 effects, and as expected, his Soul Bomb is also using Hado 90, which again is pretty much one-to-one with the anime. The animation itself in the episode was really good, so that does translate into a good Soul Bomb. And one thing worth mentioning personally with Aizen and also Shunsui is that they have really cool sound effects. I don't very rarely ever talk about sound effects for characters, but I think they did a pretty good job with these characters. In the case for Aizen though, damage output at the very least is looking very impressive. Frenzy +3, more damage to dominated enemies. Really good berserker value, overall has all the skills you want on a new character, with an EX move that is once more Hado 90. Hits a lot of times, so it's very likely to inflict status augments, and Aizen himself is a technique captain killer. So if you played with the last 2 Aizen that we have received this year that all had Dominate, this one is just going to be another really good Aizen to add to collection. Now the third character of the banner is quite a controversial choice. It is the Brave Battle character after all, but they apparently went with Ikkaku. I'm not hyped for Ikkaku whatsoever. I don't think this character should have been Ikkaku. It should have been someone more cool, in my opinion, Gerard's. But it is kind of a necessary evil when it comes to end of year anniversary Brave Souls banners. Banners like this always include 2 very powerful game-breaking units, and then also a Brave Battle unit. The Brave Battle character in particular is always the most controversial choice, because if it is a hype character, that is always met with a lot of disappointment. Take, for example, part 2 of the 10th anniversary, where we did get a Vol Standage Uryu, but all people could talk about was how disappointing it was that he was a Brave Battle unit instead of a strong attack damage unit. I feel like Ikkaku's inclusion here is to fix that problem. I mean, they could have just done an extra strong attack damage character, but as to not make a potential hype character that would have made this banner more exciting, let's say a BANKAI Yama, a Lige Vol Standage. They would have been cool to be included in this banner, but that also would have came at the downside that one of them would have to be a Brave Battle unit. So that's pretty much why Ikkaku is here, so someone cooler later on doesn't become that Brave Battle unit. In terms of what he does offer, honestly, I don't think he's that strong. He has the exact same skills that Chad has: Persistence Breaker, Persistent himself, he ignores invincibility, all the stuff that Uryu basically introduced during the second part of the anniversary. The thing is though, Ikkaku is a Mind Soripa, he's a melee character, so he's not going to be better than Uryu. Uryu is still going to dominate the Brave Battle meta, and Ikkaku right now just feels like an addition to the team to make your team better, but not really have much impact in the game. I could be gladly wrong, but in the showcase they didn't even try out Ikkaku against Uryu, so if you're hoping Uryu to get overthrown, Ikkaku definitely isn't going to be doing that. I feel like he is going to be an Uryu victim, but it's still a good addition to the team nonetheless. That pretty much is it for the new banner. I'm overall very excited. I would give this banner 8 out of 10. Very happy with Shunsui. I'm curious to see how his damage output will be because he does have Frenzy +2, but I'm really excited for Aizen 2. Only thing I would have changed is Ikkaku for a more exciting character, but maybe not too exciting of a character where their inclusion as a Brave Battle unit would end up being disappointing. Like I said, maybe a Gerard would have been a better choice here, because I've always expected that character to be a Brave Battle unit. If you are summing on this banner though, it will be releasing on the 31st. Unfortunately, it does feature some pretty good fillers. Of course, the standouts here are going to be last year's Ender banner, which includes Fullbring Bankai Ichigo, Bankai Senjumaru, and also Arskin. Alongside that, we have a 2025 unit with Mila Rose. We have Christmas Grammy, we have Giselle, Bambietta, and Tenjiro, overall still decent characters. More so Tenjiro, and then we also have Basby. I think the filler pool definitely could have been better, but this is actually a really good selection. Can't complain about it all that much. There's no old character here, all 2024 onwards, and it does feature last year's units. Considering that we haven't even seen a Rukia, Byakuya, and a Renji appear as fillers just yet, I'm actually kind of surprised that Ichigo, Senjumaru, and Arskin are seen in this banner, and overall does add a lot more value, because personally, I do want to max transcend them, alongside, of course, the new characters. Other than that, though, of course, we did get some news regarding 2026. Remember, on your screen right now was news that we did get in the Brave Souls Festival. So this is news that we already did have. In particular, the most important thing is that they did announce new content for 2026, but right now we don't really know when that is going to happen. In the new roadmap that we did get, they did state that this doesn't include everything, but as of right now, this is what is planned. In winter, we are going to get an increase in character and accessory inventory cap. Rank 1 to 50 will be adjusted to make it a lot more easier to rank up if you in case you are a new player. And then for Limit Breaker, they are going to add a ranking system so you can see how many stages you have completed in all the Limit Breakers that we have gotten in the past and compare that to other players based in your server. For Spring, we are going to get auto repeat on Brave Battles, which I do like the idea of that, and I would also love to see that added for single player content. Alongside that, we are also getting improvements to co-op and epic raids, and what they do specifically mention here is that when you are in a co-op quest where auto is enabled, you will instantly get put into auto mode instead of waiting like 10 seconds to then start activating auto. And I believe they also mentioned that in co-op quests in particular, you will no longer need to clear the quest for the first time to then be able to activate 5 times soul tickets. You can just go in straight away and use 5 times soul tickets. And then lastly for summer, they are going to improve the display of character stats and also a special 11th anniversary update. For news coming our way though, we are getting some free multis. Now these are going to be different. They are going to be available for 4 days and each day is going to guarantee you a 5-star character. This is currently the pool for the upcoming first free multi. Although, to be fair, it might be the same every day. But in the game's files, there are currently different graphics for different days. So the filler pool might be different every single day. But it's pretty much 4 free multis, 4 guaranteed 5 stars. I definitely prefer this over the 10 frame multis we normally always get, where you only get one guaranteed 5-star at the end. But I would love to see some Blood War and novel characters included in this as well. Starting on the 30th, finally, we are getting a new story part. This overall does mean more orbs, and from the looks of it, this is going to include the Esnot vs Rukia fight, and also the Kenpachi vs Gremmy fight. With a new story part, we are going to get a new background. Related to what happens in this event, it is the Red Sky, but we're also data mined to get a new background, which unironically is very similar to the Fortnite collab. It's something that we've seen before, but it's now updated, and in this case, it does have a bunch of swords with Fullbring Shikai in the back. It looks really cool. With the new end of year banner, though, we are also going to get a new point event. In particular, we can get a free Heart special move source. Finally, this has been very long overdue. It's been a minute since you've last received a Heart special move source. Unfortunately, in the last year, we haven't really received a character to use it on, but this will be good for our potential new, really good SP Heart character, whenever that might potentially be. And while it's not mentioned here, we're probably going to get another move source at the end of the year, like we saw last year. Like always, we are getting a new Choose a 6-star. This is apparently the collection of characters that they want to show on the banner. It's an updated pull, but it's still not super up to date. Again, would love for Blood War and Carfield characters to be in this. Starting on the 9th, however, we are going to get our free con. Remember, this was voted in the Brave Souls Festival. The con will include this particular soul trait. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it is Berserker, Recharge, Long Stride, and also Stamina Recovery, which is a really good soul trait to have. Really good EX skill to have too, and from the looks of it, it is a speed character, so every speed character can get this. Really hoping throughout the year 2026 we can get more cons like this in other attributes, because it's a very good free-to-play soul trait, if not the best soul trait in the game, and something I would love to use on all my characters. Not exactly sure why we have to wait until January 9th to get this character, but that's also something to look forward to. It does mean also more free orbs. And then also with that, on the 9th, when this character does release, we are also going to get another event, so more orbs. And this is based off of the Brave Souls Festival Day event, where they had like this fun little interaction with the characters. At least it's pretty cool for those that do enjoy the stories. You can read that in-game without having to go all the way to Japan to be there for the event, which at this point is already passed. Now, lastly, this very well might be the most exciting thing to come from the live stream, but Caleb have confirmed that they are collabing with Period for a Calamity project. Now, the final season of Bleach 1000 Year Blood War is stated to air in July, which conveniently is the time the 11th anniversary is going to begin. Now, if you've been following the channel over the last few years, one thing that I've stated multiple times is that Caleb can't release characters at the same time the anime releases characters. The reason for that is because they do like to use the anime visuals to stay true to the anime, and because of that, it means we can't get those characters until 6 months after this season does end. That's why, for example, we only started getting Season 3 of Blood War units July this year, when the anime ended at the end of the year for 2024. So this unfortunately meant that with the anime airing in July, we likely wouldn't see Season 4 characters in the game until early 2027. However, with this collaboration planned, they have announced 3 characters that are going to release alongside the episodes. We don't have a confirmed release date, we just know that these 3 characters, whoever they might potentially be, are going to release from July to September. They will release in time with the episodes, and likely, especially considering that this season has had a lot of preparation time, almost a year and a half, because this is the first time they are doing this, it might actually have visuals from the anime releasing at the same time. Something, again, they've not done. The closest thing to that was the Concord banner, but those were manga characters disguised as anime characters. After that, the closest thing to that was 2 years ago with Yuha and also Ichigo, but again, they came earlier than expected, but they were also manga characters designed as anime units, which was anime visuals, but you can see with the Soul Bomb is that it didn't really look like how the anime looked. So this kind of is a big deal, because these characters will have anime visuals. They'll look exactly like the scene potentially, while also releasing at the same time as the episodes. My current prediction is that this is going to be Final Fight Ichigo, Aizen, and Yuha, and potentially released in the same week, if not on the same day, when that fight airs for the first time. So this might not be seen until after the 11th anniversary. It could be part 2 of the anniversary. All we know right now is that 3 selected characters from Season 4 of 1000 Year Blood War will be released around the same time the episode does air. The question right now, I guess, is who are the characters going to be? But with that said, that's the video for today. Overall, I thought this was an exciting live stream. Like always, I would love more news about content coming to the game, right? especially in the year 2026. We at least do have a new game mode confirmed. We just have to wait and see how long that is going to take. But other than that, of the stuff they did announce, it overall is very exciting. And unironically, like I said on my live stream, I think this month, December, and the BANKAI Live that we did get was overall more exciting than what we had in the month of August, which was the 10th anniversary part 2 big campaign. Speaking of campaigns, one thing to also worth mentioning, I guess right at the end, I probably should have mentioned this earlier. One of the special things that we did see with the 10th anniversary is that it did have the unique exchange shop. From the looks of it, based on data mines, there is a new coin data mine that doesn't have the 10th anniversary logo. So this exchange shop might be a common occurrence month to month, even though the 10th anniversary has ended. I overall thought this was a good inclusion of the 10th anniversary. Like always, things in the shop could have been better. They did get better as the months went by. But if you did like what the exchange shop did offer, that doesn't seem to potentially be ending, even though the 10th anniversary is ending this month. So again, there's potentially more news to be had when the campaign does get announced in a few days' time. Either way, officially now, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.